You don't have to go to the trails to quickly increase your trail riding skills. And here's why. When you just go to the trails to get more seat time, you haven't learned the fundamental techniques to riding a dirt bike. But what are the fundamentals? Well, it's learning how to properly position your whole body, your feet, your legs, your core, your back and head and arms and hands, how to use them properly and efficiently so that you can get the most traction on the bike to stay in control and to have the most balance so that you're staying in control while using the least amount of energy. So if you haven't learned these fundamental techniques of how to position your body and how to control the clutch and the throttle for cornering, going up hills, it's just going to make it harder to quickly build up your skill and your confidence while riding on the trails. And the second reason why just going to the trails to ride more isn't going to quickly improve your skills is because you are a lot more likely to form bad habits. Think about it. When you are a motorcycle rider that's been riding on the street for 20 plus years, you've really learned how to position your body on the bike. But when you start riding in the dirt, you already have formed habits on where to sit on the bike while riding on the street. But these are completely different in almost every way to riding in the dirt if you want to have proper balance and traction. And when you have formed these habits that are not good for riding in the dirt, it just takes so much longer to unlearn these habits if you don't have someone showing you what to change or what to do on the bike. So if you're trying to go up a steep or long hill using your bad habit, it's going to take a lot longer to build up your confidence or even to get up that hill if you're just going at it over and over again rather than correcting a simple body position mistake because you've formed a bad habit. And reason number 3 is because it takes so much longer, it takes years to learn all the proper techniques. Now, I'd started riding dirt bikes when I was 7 years old, and by the time I was like 15, I thought I was pretty good at trail riding. So when I got invited to friends' single track trails, I'm like, oh yeah, I have no problem doing that. But they were a little bit worried about me because they hadn't seen me ride before, and I was a little bit offended because they didn't think that I could do the trails. But when I got there, I realized that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Even though I'd been riding for 7-8 years, I was not confident in riding tight trails with a lot of trees, a lot of elevation changes with steep uphills and downhills. I didn't feel like I had the control, so I was constantly death gripping the bars, and that forced me to use a lot more energy, and it just wasn't as fun. And even though I didn't want to admit it, they were right to worry about me because I had spent so many years just riding around our property forming bad habits or not practicing the proper ones that give you more confidence and control. But over several years, I spent researching, trying to gather up all the free resources, YouTube videos that I could watch to become a better trail rider so that I could keep up with my friends, ride faster, go out to the mountains and ride some super sweet trails with awesome views and just have more fun without worrying about the risk of getting injured. And that led me to come up with what I call the backyard method. And it teaches you how to quickly form positive riding habits. And what is a positive riding habit? Well, it's building up your muscle memory so that you can ride with control when you come up to a new, challenging, or unknown trail section, especially if it's difficult or if there's an emergency. For example, if you're flying around a corner and you realize that it's tighter than you thought it would be, and you have to slow down a lot faster. If you haven't formed a positive riding habit, then you're probably going to stab at the brake, and this will either cause you to go over the bars if you get traction, but if you don't get traction, then your tires are going to slide out because you applied too much brake too quickly, and you'll wash out, and hopefully you won't fly off the trail and get hurt, but that's sometimes what happens in an emergency situation when you haven't formed a positive riding habit. When you haven't built up that muscle memory, you just revert back to what you're normally doing. So even if you go to the trails once a month and practice good techniques, that's great, But if you only do it once a month, it's going to take years and years to build up that muscle memory so that when you come to an emergency situation, you will be able to safely stop or just avoid a dangerous situation. So, do you have 15 to 20 minutes a day instead of spending all Saturday or all weekend loading your bike up, driving a few hours to go to the trails and get some seat time? You can spend just 15 to 20 minutes a day to quickly build up your confidence and be able to ride with more confidence in as little as 3 months. So even if you don't even have trails or a large yard, all it takes is a small space to build up these positive riding habits. And some of them you can even practice in your garage without even having to start your bike. Take, for example, Paul from New Zealand. After going through my virtual dirt biker school and putting it to use, he said it's just a matter of reading what you got and looking at your video clips and going back out to the field and practicing, and then putting it to use on the trails. So when you go in your backyard, you practice the drills to build up your muscle memory, you'll be able to go to the trails and have more confidence because you are able to have more balance, ride with more efficiency, and with more traction so that your tires don't slide out. And if you're worried that you won't get personalized help, here's what Laura from Washington said after going through my online riding school. It's not a package class where you send it out and then the person's on their own. They can talk to you. So if you're buying my top package, I will help you one-on-one to focus on your specific personal situations and issues so that you can fix them and then go out and ride and have more confidence in a matter of days or weeks. And Dave from Australia said, I really appreciate the individual attention and what you've said. This last email from you makes the price feel well worth it, even given the currently poor exchange rate. So if this sounds interesting to you, you want to become a better trail rider faster, get more personalized help, I encourage you to click the link below and you'll be able to sign up for my free basic techniques guide, and you'll also learn when my virtual dirt biker school goes on sale next. I'm Kelly Fager from Motocross Hideout. Learn more, ride more.